So Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman 3 has been confirmed for London in England. For UFC 286, it's going to be the main event. I do feel like the card is still missing something. I think it might be missing Arnold Allen versus Max Holloway. Anyone? I think that's the fight to make, and I do expect more prelims to be announced over time as we do only have 10 fights confirmed. We do know Paddy Pimblett and Molly McCann won't be fighting on the card, which is a pretty big blow. Hopefully Tom Aspinall is maybe recovered in time, but I doubt that too. But I think Arnold Allen versus Max Holloway, that's the fight to make. Featured fight of the card to the co-main, which is going to be something I'm going to talk about in another video. Fiziev versus Gaethje in the main event, Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman, and I'm going to be picking Leon Edwards to win. I picked Leon Edwards to beat Kamaru Usman in the last fight, in the second fight, and I'm going to pick him to win again. And I've got many reasons for this, man. I feel like Leon Edwards is the one now coming in with the mental advantage. Kamaru Usman went in, he was a champion, he won the last fight, this and that, and now Leon Edwards is a champion. Now he's in his hometown as well. We know that the London fans can get pretty wild. They're going to boo Kamaru Usman a lot. And we also know that Leon Edwards obviously did win the last fight, and he knocked out Kamaru Usman, which I potentially could play a little bit of a role in this one here, but Usman did handle the KO loss very, very well. I do think that Leon Edwards is going to win though. Leon Edwards has been preparing obviously for this matchup for years and years and years. He's probably been preparing for the matchup for at least since before the Nate Diaz fight, I would say. For probably 3 years is what he's been preparing for Kamaru Usman for, really. And Leon Edwards has always been that guy that would have beaten Kamaru Usman. I know that Kamaru Usman was winning the fight for the most part, and I will talk about that very shortly. But Leon Edwards has always been the guy. Leon Edwards has always been the guy that we've talked about that could potentially beat Kamaru Usman. And it finally happened, and they fought. And obviously, as I predicted, not by KO on the 5th, but Leon Edwards won. I thought Leon Edwards would win a decision. I thought he would outclass Kamaru Usman for 5 rounds. But elevation really, really kicked in. Leon Edwards had a very good first round. Took down Kamaru Usman for the first time in Usman's career. Had the back. Potentially could have locked up a sub and submitted him had Kamaru Usman not been grabbing the gloves the whole time. And then he gassed out in the second and third and fourth and fifth round because the fight was at elevation. The fight was at elevation to help Kamaru Usman. And where does Kamaru Usman train? At elevation. Kamaru Usman was the only fighter on that whole card that did not completely gas out on the card because Kamaru Usman's trained at elevation. He's got crazy cardio for a guy that can't run. For a guy... For a guy that can't run, and someone asked, do you swim? And he said no. Where is the cardio coming from, Usman? We've really got questions to ask here. But yeah, Kamaru Usman was the only one that didn't gas out in the entire card. And Leon Edwards obviously gassed out when he found the kick in the 5th round. I think the fact that this fight is not at elevation is really going to help Leon Edwards, and I think he's going to look like he did in the 1st round for at least 3 rounds in this matchup. And I do think he beats Kamaru Usman by decision. I picked Leon Edwards to beat Kamaru Usman by decision. I didn't think the elevation was going to be that big of a factor, but I do think he does beat him now. Usman, in general, he's not getting any younger. He's almost 36 years old now. His knees are absolutely battered from years and years of wrestling, as he claims. He's had so many problems with his hands. I don't know if he actually did break his hand recently or whatever, but he did have a hand in a cast at some sort of local African event, I believe he was at. He had his hand in a cast sort of thing. He's not getting any younger, man. He's getting more and more beaten up. He's getting more and more damaged. Leon Edwards is the younger guy. He's not even 32 years old yet, man. He's been preparing for this Kamaru Usman matchup for years now. He's now fought Kamaru Usman, and he's the guy that can make more adjustments because he's the guy that was losing. Leon Edwards was losing the fight, so he can look at that fight and make more adjustments based on the fact that he was losing to beat Kamaru Usman in the matchup. Another thing I will say, I think Leon Edwards is going to work on his clinch, on escaping the clinch, or just getting in more dominant positions in the clinch. He's going to work more on his takedown defense as well, of course, and getting up from takedowns if Kamaru Usman ever does get him down. And I just think Leon Edwards is the guy that's going to be making more rapid improvements. I mean, how long ago was the fight? Only 5 months ago. Kamaru Usman was knocked out cold. You know, I mean, I'm not going to pretend like Kamaru Usman's chin is never going to be the same. I'm not going to bank on that. I'm not going to bank on Leon Edwards just getting a KO out of nowhere because Kamaru Usman can't take the same shots. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to pick Leon Edwards because I think he's the better fighter on their feet. I just think he is. He's just the better striker, pure striker in the matchup. He really is. Kamaru Usman, you know, got knocked down by Leon Edwards. I know Kamaru Usman was doing... Jorge Masvidal got knocked out by him too, but Jorge Masvidal's still the better pure striker in that matchup as well. If it was a pure kickboxing fight, old mate, Jorge Masvidal, would have won that matchup, but it wasn't, obviously. So Leon Edwards, and it's another thing too, like when fighters don't fear the takedown against Kamaru Usman, they do so much better on the feet. Colby Covington didn't fear the takedown against Kamaru Usman, and look how good he looked on the feet. Albeit, and look how bad Jorge Masvidal looked on the feet, considering he was fearing for the takedown the whole time. Leon Edwards isn't scared of the takedown, you know, he's got a good get-up game, he's got good wrestling, he's got the good jets as well, he's got submissions off his back. He took Kamaru Usman's back, almost finished him in the first round of the last fight. You know, I just think that Leon Edwards, man, he's the one that's going to be making the adjustments in the fight. Not in the fight, he's going to be making the adjustments since the fight. He's had 4 months to prepare. Kamaru Usman has potentially been injured. His preparation will not be the same, it won't be as good. And I just think that Leon Edwards, man, he's the guy, man. He's the guy to beat Usman. He's Usman's kryptonite, man. If Usman does win, I'll be impressed by him. I wouldn't be surprised if Usman retired very soon either, to be honest. But I do think Leon Edwards, man. Keep doubting Leon Edwards. I'm looking at this plus 290 price tag. And now the advantages are all in Leon Edwards' corner. Kamaru Usman had all of the advantages going into the second fight because he had beat Leon Edwards before. It was at home, it was in the US, it was also at elevation as well. Leon Edwards hadn't prepared for elevation whatsoever because he gassed out in the second round. And yeah, this is also going to be in London, man. And we know how bad the London crowd can be, and it is a little bit disappointing seeing how fans can treat the fighters as they walk out, like giving them the finger and like the thumbs down and screaming and yelling at them. Like, it is pretty disrespectful, but at the same time, it's going to give Leon Edwards, in my opinion, a little bit of an advantage in the walkout, because Leon Edwards is going to walk out and the crowd's going to go crazy. Kamaru Usman's going to walk out and he's going to be booed. And I see Leon Edwards, man. I don't think he finds a KO. I just think he wins the fight on the feet for 5 rounds. He's the better pure striker. And I think what he's going to do is he's going to be able to defend Usman's takedowns, defend Usman's clinch control attempts, and he's going to keep the fight on the feet and win the fight on the feet. And I can trust Leon Edwards to do that in this fight. Usman's not getting any younger. He's getting beaten up more and more over time. Leon Edwards was landing some pretty good shots in the matchup as well over the course of the fight, and I just think Leon Edwards beats him, man. I really do. I think he beats him on the feet, on the feet for 5 rounds, and that was my initial prediction, and I stuck with that through and through. I was in people's live streams, man, and they were going crazy at me, calling me an idiot, this and that, and I stuck with it, man. I stuck with the Edwards pick because I believed in him, because I haven't watched MMA for that long. Like, I'm probably coming along my 7th year of watching MMA. I only really got into MMA, I think it was about midway of 2016. But for the last few years, Leon Edwards has been touted as the guy that would beat Kamaru Usman if he was ever given the shot. And he was finally given the shot. And he finally did it. Leon Edwards will retain his title against Kamaru Usman and then probably lose to the next contender. I think he beats Bilal if he fights Bilal, but I don't see Bilal getting a title shot. I think he fights probably like Colby Covington maybe and loses to Covington, but I got Edwards, man. There's only 126 predictions here. I think more people are going to end up with Usman. I think it's going to be like 30% Edwards and then 70% Usman. Let's be realistic here. But yeah, my man Edwards, dude, I think he gets it done. I don't think people understand how crazy I went when this happened. When Leon Edwards, I'm going to be honest, when Leon Edwards got the head kick KO, I was looking down at my phone. I was like going through Instagram or something. I might have even been playing Clash of Clans. And then my sister yelled out something like she screamed out that there was, you know, just as you do when there's a crazy KO, and I looked up and I was like, oh wow, and I saw Kamaru Usman lying on the ground and I jumped up, bro. I did like 3 or 4 laps around the house, no joke, went for a sprint around the house. I was so happy, I was so excited, I couldn't believe it. I was fizzing. I rewatched the KO. No joke, probably 5 times. I rewatched the post-fight interview probably 3 or 4 times after that. I was fizzing. And then I watched the MMA Guru's reaction. I was fizzing. I watched the MMA Guru's reaction twice. I was absolutely fizzing. I was loving it. And I think Leon Edwards beats Usman, but I don't think he gets it done by KO or submission. I think he gets it done by decision. I think he just beats up Kamaru Usman on the feet for 5 rounds. And I tell you what, I'm going to be so nervous during this fight. I'm going to be sweating bullets as I... Oh man, I just really want Edwards to win for so many reasons, man. Like, Usman, where are you getting your cardio from? I watched the interview where you said you've got buggered knees and you can't run. You said you can't swim. Where is the cardio coming from? He's like, oh, I've just got to go as hard as I can. for a very short amount of time, then I can get away with it, and that's just how you do it, man. It's like, like, do we believe it? Do we? Anyway, guys, I'll get to the end of the video. Whoa, I spent 10 minutes talking about this fight. That was not intentional whatsoever. If you want to use my Bet US link, it's right there. If you deposit $100, you've got $225 to play with, which is a lot of money. But if you deposit $50, you're going to have $112.50 to play with. So you're going to get a 125% sign-up bonus. You double your money and then some just by using my link and using my code. So please do it. And yeah, you'd get a little bit of extra money for it. UFC 286 in general, though, let's have a quick skim over the card. I don't think it's a complete card yet. I think there's definitely one more big fight to be announced, and I think it's going to be Max Holloway versus Arnold Allen, as Arnold Allen very secretly announced on Instagram. I'll bring it up maybe in another video, but I think that's the one, man. I really think it is. Aside from that, there's a lot of fights that don't really interest me. Sato versus Miller is a weird fight to have on this card, not gonna lie. Yeah, it's gonna be a good card. I think Dolidze gets it over Vittori as well, which could be a big underdog pick. I think a lot of people are picking Vittori. Alright, someone's picking Dolidze. It's interesting. Yeah, 68% Vittori. I've got Dolidze in that one, man. I just don't. I've never believed in Vittori, man. I really haven't. I don't rate him that highly. He's just a tough guy. I think Roman Dolidze might be like the first guy to finish him in a very long time. But yeah, I'll leave it at that. That's the end of my video. So thank you so much for watching.